God didn't love them anymore, that God had completely turned his back on them, because Korah and the sons of Levi were the ones that tried to get Israel to turn their back on God, to turn their back on Moses, because they had their own itinerary, they had their own plans, they had their own ways. They wanted to go about this journey the way that they wanted to do it, and they were accusing Moses of wrongdoing when he was not. He was basically following everything that God said. So Korah and the sons of Levi and 200 others from the children of Israel were swallowed up into the earth because God was punishing them, because they basically turned their back on Moses and on the Lord. And so God, he consumed them. So this is where the children of Israel, even though they didn't become a part of all these people that got destroyed, basically, they were still wondering, how does God feel about us? And God was literally telling them in this message that just like the woman that got tossed before Jesus, I don't condemn you. I still love you. Go and sin no more. Start again and just continue to follow me. Can go back to Isaiah 54. I should have held something there, but all right, we're good. All right. For the Lord has called you like a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit. Okay, so now the second part, and this is another story, like a youthful wife when you were refused, says your God. There's another story. John, go to Genesis 38, 1 through 9.
Okay.
Almost there.
38.
1 through 9.
Okay. And it came to pass at that time that Judah, it's all right, departed from his brother and visited a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw that there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he married her and went into her. So she conceived, thank you, bore a son, and he called his name yeah. She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. Yeah, Onan. And she conceived yet again bore a son, and called his name Shelah.
Right. Go with that. That's fine.
He was at Chezib when she bore him. Then Judah took a wife from his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord killed him. And Judah said to Onan, go into your brother's wife and marry her, and raise up an heir to your brother. But Onan knew that the heir would not be his, and it came to pass when he went in to his brother's wife that he entitled
Admitted,
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
On the ground, lest he should give an heir to his brother.
So Onan was asked because was killed because of his wickedness. God killed him, and so Onan was asked to take the wife and basically conceive with the wife and have a child. But because he knew it wasn't going to be his, he chose not to do that. He forsaked her for having a child. And this was, like I said, this was the story that I thought about when I read that second part, because God did not forsake Israel, because, I mean, he was with them the entire time, and he destroyed the wicked people from Israel to basically leave the ones who were actually being honorable. They were actually being honorable, even though they didn't think so. Yes, they were whining, they were complaining. That's true, but God, He knows our heart, so He knows, who's going to go after Him and who's not going to go after Him. And so He knew that. I mean, they didn't go with Korah. They didn't go with the sons of Levi. They didn't go with the 200 that also went with them. So God was saying, because you've done this, because you've still stayed honorable to me despite the other things that you've done, I still love you, and I forgive you for anything that you feel you've done against me. And so basically saying it was like a wife that was forsaken, a youthful wife that was forsaken. In other words, I accept you. I'm not going to turn my back on you. Even if anybody else would, I'm not going to turn my back on you. Okay, let's go back to Isaiah 54. Okay. Verse 7 says, "For a mere moment I have forsaken you, but with great mercies I will gather you." So I feel like what God is saying is He's saying that He because he did destroy Korah, and He did destroy the sons of Levi, and He did destroy the 200. So I feel like that's what He's saying. Like there was a part of the children of Israel that He had to forsake Him, because they completely turned their back on Him. And I feel like maybe in a way too, maybe in a small way, He did turn His back on Israel, maybe for a moment, like it was basically saying, because he didn't like all the complaining. He didn't like just everything else that Israel had literally put him through after everything that He had done for them. So because it says in number 16 that Korah and the sons of Levi and 200 others followed along and wanted to go about their own way. They wanted, and they were accusing Moses of wrongdoing, and they were basically saying, you want to do it this way, and you want to follow God, and God saying, want to do it this way, but we want to go about this our own way. We feel like our own ways would be better than what you or God has chosen for us. And because of that, because of what Korah and the sons of Levi and 200 others chose, they were swallowed up into the earth in number 16. And I explained that they didn't trust God from the very beginning. Once they were out of Egypt, and the story, to where they were rescued by Moses. The Lord worked through Moses, rescued them from Pharaoh and all his army. That the Red Sea was parted, like you know the story, that for 40 years they went through the desert or whatever, but they were complaining, and they were but they sent out spies. They sent out spies because they didn't know what was ahead, and they wanted to know what was ahead instead of trusting God. Because what does God call us to do? Walk by faith, not by sight. Just because you can't see what's further ahead doesn't mean you should question God. If God's directing you, then trust Him. And the children of Israel, they weren't doing this. So in a way, God, he kind of was like, okay, like, what's the deal here? I've done everything. But yeah, they still like complain and they still want to